Hello, friends. Welcome back to another Motivational Monday, or if you are new here, welcome. As you can see, there is quite a bit of stuff all over the house and just kind of in disarray after a really busy week, a really busy weekend. We kind of have not really been here. We have been starting baseball, and so if you know how that life is, you're just never really home. And so my house could really use a pretty good cleanup. So that is what we're going to get to today. We are going to just do a really quick pickup today, get everything kind of back in order and start our week off nice and fresh. But it's going to be just a quick one. It's not going to be any deep cleaning because we are going to be heading out here shortly. I'm going to start some dinner and we're going to get to some cleaning while this is cooking fully in the oven. I am throwing together some pork enchiladas, and so I'm going to sear the pork here on the stove top, and then I'll put it in the oven to cook the rest of the way. So while that is cooking for a couple of hours in the oven, I'm going to get to all the cleaning that needs picked up around the house. If you missed my Friday video, I did a video on stocking our freezer. We did our freezer, and then I'm also doing some freezer meals for a family member that is about to have surgery this week. And so that was from my Friday video, but this is actually a meal that we're bringing over to their house, and we're going to spend some time with them before they have to leave and go out of town for their surgery. This recipe has quickly become one of my family's favorite recipes. I recently tried it a couple videos back, and this is now on the regular for us every week. I picked this recipe to bring over to our family's house because it doesn't really have very many ingredients, and with its cooking time, I thought it would be a really good recipe to be able to cook it, and while it's cooking slowly, I can get to all the things I need to around the house and then be able to kind of come back to it every now and then just to check on it. And then once we have all of our cleaning done and we're about ready to leave, I can form them into enchiladas, put them in a pan, and just go. So I knew it was going to be a pretty good recipe just to do since I had so many other things going on. And I like doing these kind of recipes too, on like busy school nights. We have a lot of things going on here coming up soon. We have a lot of homeschool events and sports starting up. So these meals they're always really good to have. You can kind of cook them when you have a slow time during the day, or this recipe in particular can actually be put in the crock pot too. And then once you get to it for dinner time, you're just wrapping up enchiladas, making any sides that you're wanting, and putting it in the oven for not very long. I want to say like 20 minutes. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty much just to warm them up. It makes for a quick and easy meal on those busy weeknights. And once you have the meat already done, it comes together fairly quickly. Now that I have the meat in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning, getting to everything. Like I said, it's not going to be a deep clean. It's just been neglected for a couple of days, and we are a family of 6, so it really doesn't take that long to feel like it's neglected. So I am getting all this wiped down and getting through the kitchen. I like to clean room by room, and I don't usually skip around at all because my mind just cannot think with all that. So I stick to one room, and once I have it how I'm wanting it, then I can move on to the next area of the house. So I'm starting with the kitchen. I usually do that because I feel like that room usually always needs it. It is the busiest room in our house, so it always feels neglected. I have been working on making healthier decisions, and so one of the things that I have started doing, I've said that I've struggled quite a bit with sweets at nighttime. So one of the things that I have tried doing is making a lot healthier of decisions at nighttime. So I'm still getting my sweet fix, but it is significantly healthier. So I got all these jars so I can make this. It's a chocolate tofu mousse, and I've been making it. It is super good. It reminds me of, in the Chicago area, they have a restaurant and it has a chocolate cake shake. It reminds me of that. It's that flavor, that texture, and it is really, really good. So I have been making those and I put them in jars. Well, I wanted like smaller portions, so I got a whole thing of jars so I can put them in smaller portions. And also because my kids absolutely love them too, so they can just grab one jar and eat that instead of sitting there. My 7-year-old, he likes to grab the bigger jars and he'll sit there and kind of mindlessly eat them. And it's like, no, you have to only eat a portion of it. Don't eat the whole thing. So anyway, I thought that those jars would be really good to portion them out properly for all of us to enjoy our sweets at night. Is anybody else here a sports parent? So we have taken kind of a long pause. My daughter, she used to play soccer and she was very, very good. My husband, he's very competitive and he played sports like his entire life. So he gets really into it and loves when our kids do like sports. But my oldest son, he is more of an artsy guy. He doesn't care as much about sports. He has done baseball in the past, but it's just not really for him. My daughter, she is a lot like her dad, and she's very competitive and she gets involved in a lot of different sports. So she had played soccer for a while. She did soccer last year as well, but she, in this area, it is so different from the Chicago area and all the sports that we're used to from up there. She is aging out down here in soccer, and there's really not very much available to her, unfortunately. So she's either having to get into another sport or find a different activity, unfortunately. And that just kind of sucks because we absolutely loved watching her play, and she loved playing, and it was something that she was really, really good at. So it just kind of sucks in a way. But now our younger two boys, they are starting to get into stuff too. They did soccer last year, and this year they're wanting to do baseball, and they wanted to do soccer also, but it is just, it's too much. It's too much going on, and with 4 kids, it's like you're constantly just going already. And then when you add sports to the mix, it can kind of seem a little wild. So we just got our schedules in for their baseball. And my youngest son, he's doing t-ball, and my older son is doing baseball. And so I'm going to be at the field like 5 days a week. And right before this video is when we actually got the schedule. And I have to admit, I panicked a little because I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so much of a commitment. And it really made me nervous because we already have so much going on. And then to have such a commitment of, 5 days a week at the ball fields, I don't know what I'm going to do. Life's going to look a little crazy here soon. And so I'm like, I have to get this house into shape so I don't have to come home to a messy house and feel like I have to sit there and clean and get it all tidied up. My mind has a hard time working with clutter, and when things are just kind of a mess, I have a hard time settling my mind. So I kind of panicked and was like, you know what, before we go to our family's house, we need to get this house picked up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be picked up so I can at least calm my mind a little bit. I've had a couple people ask about what vacuum I use. This is a Samsung vacuum, and I don't even know like what model or anything it is. I got it a couple years ago, And I was a shark person before. However, I felt like they were really great at first and then really quickly died down. And we have pets, we have kids, and I just really got tired of that. I felt like I was buying a vacuum every single year whenever I had a shark. And we ended up getting this Samsung kind of on a whim a couple years ago. I want to say it's been 3 years since we got it, and it is still going strong. I love this vacuum. There has been a couple little hiccups. Nothing as far as like it's like the wheel of the vacuum. We, I don't know. I took it out to clean it one time. It's my fault. I took it out to clean one time, and a piece dropped, and it was so tiny that I could barely see it. So now one of our wheels kind of is a little wonky. But other than that, it still works really great. It still has great suction, and that is something that I felt like always wore off whenever I was a shark person. So now we are not, and I really like this one. We've actually looked at getting another one to replace it in case, it kind of dies down or whatever. But I don't even know. I haven't seen them, so I don't know if they are still making them. I hope so because our family really enjoys it, but we've tried several other ones. I don't remember what it's called. It's like that white one. Tenneco? It's Tenneco. We've tried one of the Tennecos and in between our shark and this one, and I did not like it nearly as much. So I ended up just giving that to my mom, and then we kept our Samsung, and it's still going strong. So that is the vacuum that we use. If you have seen any of my other cleaning videos, you know that we always have laundry. It is something that never stops. I mean, you would think that these people are wearing multiple different outfits every day, but with as much clothes as they're giving me to wash, I don't know. It's insane. I was doing laundry today after all this, and I already have like a mountain of clothes to get through. Like they're already clean, thankfully. But my biggest problem is folding them and putting them away, which I don't even really put too much of that away because my kids are all at an age where I can just fold it all and then call them and they will come and put their own stuff away. But I don't know why laundry is such an issue for me. There is six of us, but and it's never ending, but it seems like there's more people living here and I'm unaware. And now that I'm saying this and talking about this, I am realizing that like several videos ago, I mentioned how I wanted to try a new laundry method where we each have a basket and then from the dryer, they just go into that basket and kind of eliminating me having to fold them all. But whoever they come and get their basket and put it away themselves and then put an empty basket back into the laundry area. So I completely forgot that I wanted to try that method. I'm thinking we're going to be redoing our laundry closet here soon, so maybe I will implement that method when we do that. I also, oh, here's a laundry mountain. Speaking of, if you're wondering why I have a laundry mountain on my dining room table, my husband recently started playing a fun little game where he doesn't know where to put the laundry and he doesn't want to put it away. So he will put it in a pile on our dining room table. It is not the funnest of games, but yeah, I don't know why we started that, but it's like we just have so much going on and he's tired and I'm tired and it's just like whatever, but put the mountain of laundry on the dining room table and eventually someone will do something with it. And to be completely honest, he's really not wrong because we get to it significantly faster when it's on the dining room table. We eat all of our meals at this table. And so when he piles it on the table, we're really forced to just deal with it at that point, and it never really gets out of hand because of that. So I guess he's not really that far off. It kind of makes sense when you think about it, because when we pile it on our bed, which I tend to do, I'll pile it all on there in hopes that I can just kind of turn on the TV and watch an episode and do some laundry and get to it. I don't go in our room too often though, so that it kind of messes with it. And then at the end of the day, when you're ready to climb into bed, you're like, oh my gosh, there is a laundry mountain on our bed. And then you're forced to deal with it then. So it kind of does make a little more sense that if we're piling laundry like we're doing, that it's on our dining room table. So then we're forced to deal with it right then and there. But either way, I need to start and figure out a new method. And I think I'm going to try that new method with all the baskets of laundry. And they're just small, so they'll all fit in that closet. But something needs to give. And I think that's what we're going to be doing. I am taking all this stuff and just putting it in a box. This is stuff like decor and random stuff that I don't want to get rid of because I still plan on using, but I don't really have a space for it right now. So I'm going to put it all in this box and we're going to bring it down to storage. We recently just redid this little area over here, this nook with the cabinets, and I'm using it for all of our homeschool stuff. And I really am so glad that we did it. I'm really enjoying this space now. I like how it looks. I love the green paint, and it just adds that freshness after it not being painted in I don't know how many years. We had not done anything to this area since we moved in here, and I believe we've been here 4 years now. So it feels fresh and new, and it is really working out for us for our homeschooling stuff. It has still kind of been not as much of a drop zone. I talked in that video where we redid it about how it was kind of just everybody's drop zone, and it has not really been that way. It a little bit here and there, but very minimal. And I kind of go back to it. And because we're in here all the time with homeschool, I think that's why it's staying together and neat, because we're always over here now. So it is working out, and I am so thrilled with how this area turned out. Theo came through here pretending to be a tornado with all of his baseball gear, running and twirling, like a normal 5-year-old. And he knocked over the plant that was on this table. So it actually needed a really good watering anyway. So I am going through and kind of getting all the dirt off, and I'm just putting it on the rug because I'm about to vacuum anyway, and giving everything a really good wipe down. And then I do go through, I don't show me watering my plants, but at this time of year, I try to do it about once a week to the ones that need it once a week. And I just do them all on one day. I bring them all over and wash them in the kitchen sink. So they get a good watering, and the plant that spilled, I put it all together and gave it a good watering. And now I am cleaning up the mess from Tornado Theo.
You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. But I will guide you home.
It's always shocking to me whenever I'm watching these videos back and I'm vacuuming my floors because my floors are terrible right now. The ones that I'm vacuuming, I mean, you can't even see, but there is so much dog hair, and the camera is like so forgiving because I mean, I'm looking really close and I cannot see. It does not look nearly as bad as what it is, but man, I'm just going to let you know my floors are terrible. We have two Aussies, they have long fur, and so it's just constantly shedding. It's always all over the place, and I do my best to vacuum it all the time. But yeah, this was after maybe 2 days of me not vacuuming, which is pretty rare. I try to vacuum every day, especially this area. We do a lot of our homeschooling, and so I want the floor to be clean and stuff. But yeah, it just always shocks me how clean the floor looks on camera because it really, I swear, is not clean.
Fight your battles, always by yourself. In the shadows, you cry for help. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. Getting hot, feeling low, and it's out of your control.
I usually have just a citrus scent going in my diffusers. I love citrus scents, especially this time of year. And the one I put in was lemon. So very simple and subtle, but I love the scent of the citrus scents. And people always ask me where I got this diffuser. I got it on Amazon. I believe it's called a volcano diffuser. It is super cool and one of my favorites that I have ever gotten. We have a bunch of boxes that we ordered a bunch of books and stuff from Amazon, so I need to probably break these down. However, I have a husband and I think that's what he does. So I am putting these all together and he's outside playing baseball with the boys. So I am just putting these out there so he could readily have them available to him to do his husband things. This window area constantly has traffic now. This is by our front door, so it just, has that natural traffic. But also, we have bird feeders now in this window, and my cats love to watch them. My kids love to watch them. Theo, he had binoculars and he was sitting in a chair the other day. He said he was doing some bird watching. So we it looks like it's a catch-all, but there is order to all this chaos over here. This is our bench from our table that we turned into a kitchen island. So I put it in here, and at first I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it, and I wasn't sure if we were going to keep it here. This space has gone back and forth so many times since we've been here, but I really like how we're utilizing the space at this point. I really like the bench here. I still need to end up redoing it, but for now it's fine. But it kind of like it is somewhat of a catch-all. We put all of our library books over here, and when we go to the library, we get a ton. We get a ton of library books. I love incorporating them into our schoolwork. So that's over here. We have some extra I think they're called coffee table books, but I like to kind of have them as a double for school stuff too. So they're like learning stuff. We have puzzles and games, and just it has our plants, and like I said, we have the birds, and the cats like to watch the birds, and we have a new bird feeder. So I'm really enjoying how we redid that space. now that I've gotten to most of my cleaning that I was wanting to get done this afternoon, there's still a couple odds and ends that I'm wanting to get to, and I'm wanting to do the bathrooms, but I'll have to wait because we are cutting it close to when we're going to have to leave to go to our family's house. So the pork is finishing up in the oven, and I'm going to do a big pot of rice for anybody that's wanting that when we go. And then I'm also going to do the tomato and cucumber and onion salad. I always do that on my channel, so if you're a regular, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I am doing very simple rice, and I like to use, lately I've been using this just garlic powder and a Cajun style seasoning. It is really, really good. It has been kind of my go-to because I've been a little lazy with rice lately. We've had it quite a bit, and I've just kind of gotten lazy with it. But this is a really good method for doing it because it is really, really tasty when you do this, and it's still like so little effort. So that is what I'm using to make this big pot of rice. And then I'm going to take the pork out while this is cooking, and I'll shred that up and start assembling the enchiladas. The other times that I have made these pork enchiladas, there is not nearly as much liquid in the pan when I pull them out. I did double this recipe because we're making it for a large group of people. So there is a possibility that I added in too much of the liquid. It calls for beer and beef broth, I think. So I'm assuming I just added too much of it, and that's why it's a little more liquidy than it usually is. However, it is a phenomenal recipe for pork enchiladas, so I do suggest it. I will leave the recipe down below in the description box if you're wanting to try it for yourself. It is very, very good, and like I said, I doubled the recipe, and I'm assuming I just kind of mixed up the liquid at some point and added in more than I was supposed to. I was kind of rushed and stuff to get everything done before we left, so that's probably what it was. I'm moving on to what I constantly make on my channel because it is so easy and my family really loves it. We, like I said, eat a lot of rice, and this is so, so good on top of rice. I usually will make like a pico de gallo whenever I'm making tacos or enchiladas, but this just sounded really good. It's super easy to make, and I didn't want to, sometimes it can be, pico de gallo can be like a little spicy, so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it pretty mild. So I'm doing this. I never know the name of it. If you know, please let me know so I can start saying it whenever I make this a million times on my channel. But it is just diced tomatoes on the vine. I like to get that large pack from Sam's Club. And then I cut up about half, I did about half of a red onion, really thin slices. And when I'm making it for other people, I'll also cut them down a little bit. And then a large cucumber I dice up, and then I'll put in some red wine vinegar, some balsamic, and a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and basil. And that's pretty much it. You kind of just toss it and let it sit for a little bit to marinate, and it is so, so good. And it is one of our favorite ways to eat it is on rice, and that's what we're going to do this evening.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
For the enchiladas, I put about a tablespoon in each corn tortilla and then I roll it up. There is green enchilada sauce on the bottom of this pan, and then I'll also put some on top, and then I'll put cheese on and bake it until they're kind of browned and nice and bubbly. Now, my camera ended up dying. The battery was dying and I didn't realize, and so it will cut off and you won't see like even half of this process. I didn't realize until I went to go move my camera. So that is why you're not going to see everything, but I do show you how it ended up turning out after we got to our family member's house. It ended up being a really, really great meal. And then I also will pack all of the food that I made in my Friday video. I did a bunch of freezer meals. I filled our freezer, and then I made freezer meals for my family to have for recovery after their surgery. I just felt like it would be so much easier for them to have about a week's worth of meals and them not really have to worry. So that is what I'm packing up here, and then you'll see how dinner turns out. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on another Motivational Monday. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.